4 handicap, looking to stop sweeping the irons and start hitting down and compressing a bit better. Included a few swings here face on down the line, as well as a change to the face on view versus what you were doing in the beginning and what you've done now. Change being more rotation of the upper body in the backswing, more rotation of the lower body in the downswing, which I do believe can increase your distance just by increasing club head speed, but I don't feel like that's going to help aid in your compression or your low point drawing more forward. So let's back all the way up to the beginning, which again, your first swing face on here. Note the amount of shoulder turn quickly as we look at this to the top and breeze through to the other side. I know that the angles aren't exactly the same, but trying the same lines between the shoulders, we'll see a ton more rotation, almost right at your 90 degree, rather than a 65, 70 degree shoulder turn to the top. So that does certainly give a ton of potential club head speed and distance. But the issue with rotating more in the backswing is if that rotation pulls your head off the ball with sway. I'll mark your lead hip here quickly as well, to see that you're not doing a lot of lower body or whole weight shifting. It's just as your left shoulder works across your body, it will pull your head off the ball a little bit, and then your recovery just isn't enough, where your lower body does not clear enough, rotate enough on the way through, and you're essentially stuck, tilted behind the ball with an upward angle of influence or attack, but we'll call it that. As you proceed through, you do turn through and maintain a lot of good position. So you know what this looks good for? Pretty much every one of your longer clubs. I bet you're deadly with the hybrid, and the driver is a fairway machine because of that tilting back and upward angle of attack. But when it comes to compression with the irons, you probably know that that does not work. Down the line view has your setup stance posture hanging a little bit low, nothing too far out of the ordinary, but you could certainly feel like you've got more room and freedom by standing up a bit taller and letting that toe sit down a bit more flush on the ground, getting the arms nice and straight. But overall, if you're a 4 handicap, I don't believe that you're going to want to change this right before the beginning of your season. Takeaway is great, face on the path line, pretty square to closed even, and that short backswing should really keep your path and face in good alignment. As you come down, it's a little over the top of your backswing path, but no further over the top of the actual plane, looking fairly straight, and your deviation of direction is likely just timing of club face. So no major adjustments there. Your trail foot is doing the toe lift, which I really call just movement toward the toes, lifting up off the heel, not getting enough of that lateral push, which we will see much of in a second with our tour comparison. But continuing on to go back again to the new and improved swing face on view with the iron. Setup stance, fine. Posture here, left foot could flare open a little bit more, hopefully getting you through the ball. But your call to action is going to be working your shoulder tilt and rotation as to not sway the upper body and head. Because the more that you've rotated off the ball, which is great for your speed and power, the more you've also shifted or swayed the upper body. These angles that I'm drawing here from the spine into the head are similarly known as the power V position. Again, read up on it, great for driver, and your recovery doesn't quite make it. It looks like you'll be able to work on your wrist angles once you can get more laterally in front of this ball, but it's really a broken record. I know I'm repeating myself with this head sway. So what you have to do is feel as though your right shoulder is working back to target, because initially as your left shoulder wants to pull you down and in, let's play it through. Already you can just minimize that weight shift just by paying attention to where your head is and trying to pivot a little bit cleaner, but the left shoulder will draw rather flat across the body, pulling that right shoulder back and effectively doing all of that swaying motion. So if you can go back to the setup and pull that right shoulder directly back to target, feeling like your right shoulder blade is pointed at your target. Left shoulder working more down as well, should have your body rotating around your spine and not letting your head tilt or slide as much. As a great example of this here, we're going to fade back to our pro, Scotty Scheffler, who we will cue up and do the same lines right here through the spine and on the lead hip. So we'll play it through and see. Camera angle is about the same. hips are almost leaning into the front side, as that rotation and right shoulder are really pulling back and working straight to target. That of course is going to keep the head in that similar position, and it's going to feel, if you do this, like you're putting tons of pressure on that left foot to the top. And I think for you that's a good thing, because too much pressure to the backside, not enough push off, will cause your low point to be stuck behind. Now again, that yellow line, long one through the middle, is where he started. Look at how far forward his body will be at impact. Hips are a good 6 inches out in front, and the lower body, legs, back foot, especially his signature move, is that slide, where he's just doing more than anyone with this lateral push, driving the back leg and back knee, and so much so the back foot just continues to slide forward as the weight draws towards target. So all of that makes him a quality ball striker, and if the point didn't get across, you slide the hips, your low point starts to come more and more forward, helping that downward angle of attack and compression. But it does start back here with the setup and backswing, because you can't be off the ball and then move that far forward. I hope all of that will make sense. Let me go back to yours playthrough one more time. If I could control the right video, we might see it. So reduced sway off the ball, added lateral push off that back foot, all should help you hitting down at the ball. And if you've done that in the past, I think you'll just regain that feeling again. Quick drill before we finish up, just to instantly make an impact, is this is not how you'd hit a ball, but if you want to feel compression again immediately without changing anything, throw that ball back in the stance. You'll hit down on it more by nature, just to reward yourself with a well-struck shot, because it's very difficult to do so with your movements in the backswing. Good luck with those changes. Sendaswing.com.